Hi there, this is TikTok Hamza from Potently, and you're welcome to the Summer Career Experience Program 2026. And today we're going to look at global opportunities. Are you looking for a remote position or you want to land scholarship? Definitely, we're going to cover most of this in this session and subsequent sessions. Let's get started. And the three things you're going to gain from this particular session of the experience program is first is global graduate schemes, what they are and what they actually look for, and then remote roles that are actually open for international candidates, and also how to make your international profile go far. And in practical sessions that we're going to have subsequently, we're going to provide you with the list of websites that you should sign up on, and also how you can actually stand a chance. We're going to attach it to this video in the comment section or in the classroom for you to be able to access this alongside. So about 33% of graduate level roles are often open to international applicants. So most companies are just moving towards a remote first hiring procedures, and most end up having a kind of hybrid, maybe 3 to 2, 3 days office, 2 days at home, and most organizations also have this kind of outsourcing where they could just outsource some part of their um, work to either individual consultants or organizations. For instance, we have the U test that helps organizations to and to help that help them to test website text workflows. So when you sign up with utest.com, then you could have opportunity to be working with popular brands by helping them to test their website or just by using test cases. And there are others that just help them to review. There are those that help to train AI like Outlier and Turing and all of that. We're going to provide you the full details of all of these things alongside as a guide. So now, let's start with the global scheme and fellowship. And next tomorrow, on Saturday, you should join us. We're going to bring in a global scholar that has won scholarships in South Korea in masters and also a PhD in the UK. So he's going to give us some strategies on scholarships that no one actually talk about. So we would love to see you there, 4 p.m. on Saturday. Okay, that what's today's date? Just a moment. Today's date is okay, 6th, so that will be on the 8th. Cool. So now, what do global schemes and fellowships look for? First, they need to the graduate scheme are structured either 1 to 2 year programs for masters or could be 3, 4, or 5 years for PhDs, right? So, but majorly graduate scheme are just 1 to 3 year programs, right? And they are usually multinational. We have like Green Climate Fund does a 6 month internship. I've been there before, and I've worked with the Green Climate Fund, and they do the internships. And we have the UN, for instance, that do the YPP professional program, which is usually 2 years. So these are graduate schemes that you should be targeting, okay? Especially if you're a recent graduate. Another thing you could do is just look at fellowship, which are usually competitive, but it's paid. Graduate scheme are also paid, yeah, but more like kind of an entry role. But if you're interested in research or scholarship, then you should try to look for the fellowships. And we have popular ones like the Chevney. Chevney is currently opening, and then we have Mastercard Foundation, and so on. And we have a dedicated scholarship series, about 20 episodes. We are currently at episode 4, so you can tune to that, and then you'll be able to, if you want to go into scholarship in depth. Okay. Next is next is a selector's kind of leadership potentials or leadership programs. It's like the Yali leadership program. There is a Mandela Washington and all of that. So these are really, really important things. That's what they look for. And most of them, the deadlines are usually fixed. For instance, Chevney usually starts around this time every year, right? Mastercard also has specific time that they start. So you just need to look for those things and then you'll be able to apply. But one of the things we're able to do this week is to help you decide on which one exactly you should you are fit for, and you should target you should be targeting, and you should focus your energy on. Okay, so now let's look at the routes, like the main global entry routes. There are four major routes. Okay, these are different from types of scholarships. We have an extensive videos on our YouTube in the previous session, and it's also on our YouTube on types of scholarships. They are usually each category, but when you talk about the route, they are usually four main routes or main routes. Okay, so we have the graduate schemes, which usually 1 to 2 programs, and they are usually multinationals. And we have the fellowships that we mentioned earlier. We have the research roles, which are usually funded assisted position abroad. I've had one in South Korea. Okay, and then we have the exchange. Most universities offer exchange programs abroad where you just go exchange, and this is usually based on university based or government mobility program. And one of them, if you're also a worker, like one of them is a Quaker programs in South Korea. So it's just like a kind of bilateral relationship exchange between South Korea and most countries, where people that are working in institution or civil servants get to go to South Korea and do a master programs where they're learning or they're impacting, and they go back to their country and impact. So now, let's just quickly touch on remote roles. Yeah, remember this is just a 10 minute video just for you to have a rough overview. Then we'll start going into details over the weekend with practical sessions and with other follow-up videos. So remote roles that open international doors, right? We've talked about how 33% of graduate roles are now open to international applicants. You can go to www.scholarly.com, build your profile, and it automatically search for graduate roles and scholarships that fit your career. And we have the next thing, they are the digital finance marketer scheme. So these are usually open for international doors. You really need to look for that. And you can even get some of this via websites like Upwork, right? And if you go to LinkedIn as well, or you go to remote.com, you can filter by location, and then you select the ones that are remote. We're going to have a practical session where we're going to look at these things. And another thing you need to understand is a remote role is a foot in the door for an international employer and also to build your network. It could be part-time, it could be a couple of hours, it could be project basis, whatever it is going to really, really imagine you earning from the comfort of your home. You don't have to spend money on transport. So it's really going to help you to not just save, but also to be able to expand your network. I can remember when I was in South Korea after my research position expired. I was working with some organization with a company in Japan, right? And I was working as an AI evaluator and an AI and I'm also and then I was also working with another one where I'm just kind of writing for them, right? I just write for them. So they give topics and then I research on that topic, then I write on it. So those are a couple of things that you could start. And this is just like an eye-opening session for you to know that these things actually exist, right? And the guide that we're going to provide or attach to this is really going to be the game changer for you. And subsequent sessions will bring in experts to come help expand these things for you. So where remote roles, where do they live actually? For you to go remote, you need to know where to go and look for those remote opportunities. So there are many websites. We're going to also attach a list of those websites for you. We have the remote boards like remote.com, we work remotely, LinkedIn, and so on. We have the distributing firms which hire across distributing firms like Appen, Connect, Telos International, and so on. We have the freelance sites like the Upwork and Contra, which for first clients, even TopTal. It's a very good one as well. And then we have the online presence where you just try to, once you present online, you have your portfolio, recruiters will definitely reach out to you, and LinkedIn is your best place. Now you must have already have a perfect LinkedIn. You see why we started with having a good LinkedIn profile, okay? That's why we bring a recruiter from inside to help us see how our LinkedIn profile should look like. So, to build an international profile from where you are, you need to shortlist one opportunity from each type scheme, from the graduate scheme, from the fellowship, from the remote role, or an NGO. Then you localize your CV to international norms. So, you need to have an international standard CV. We had a full session last week for about 2 hours on just for you to craft a CV. We've been hammering on CV. We've revamped a CV live on the session. And if you haven't watched that, you should watch the recording. Okay. So, now it is really important for you to, and if you're unable to get an international standard CV, you can go to nigeriacvpro.com, have one, and then you start tailoring it for yourself. And you try to provide and try to grow your online presence as well, and track deadlines as you are applying. Okay, so you need to make your profile traveling by having an international CV, you have a LinkedIn, you have a cross-cultural proof, and then you have a shortlist doc. Okay, and you need to have a goal search plan. This is very, very important. You need to be able to know what you want to search, what are the headlines, and is your LinkedIn ready for global positions? So your action plan for today is to research one opportunity from each of the 4 categories today. Save the link, deadline, and key requirements in one document, and you now have the stats. And then look forward to the read through the guidelines that we've attached for you in terms of remote positions, and try to reflect what exactly are you looking for. Is it scholarship or just internships or whatever it is? And that's 10 minutes, and see you on the next one.